bedroom, we're a 1 bedroom with a voucher, we're talking $2,700. That's unheard of.
Right.
That's unheard of, right? So landlords are saying, oh, well, if the programs are paying this, but if you have money to pay that much in rent, I always say, listen, you don't have to have excellent credit to get in.
Right.
You can get into a property in the low to mid 600s. Your rate might be a little higher, but there's opportunity down the line to refinance. Stop putting equity in someone else's pocket and build yours.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.
Peace and blessings, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Publisher's Desk. And I'm Damon K. Jones, publisher of Black Westchester Magazine, and this is powered by blackwestchester.com, the news with the Black point of view. And today, our guest is a respected leader in real estate and strong advocate for expanding access to homeownership. Erica King is a licensed associate real estate broker with more than 20 years experience, bringing deep expertise into real estate finance and negotiation to every client that she serves. She holds an MBA. She holds an MBA and specialized certificates as a real estate negotiation expert and sellers representative specialist. Beyond her work in helping buyers and sellers navigate the market, she is also the co-founder and president of the Westchester County Board of National Association of Real Estate Brokers, where she is helping lead efforts to create greater pathways to ownership and building stronger communities through equitable housing access. And now let's welcome friend of the show, Erica King. How you doing, sis?
Good morning, Damon. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
No, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. It was, it's great to we try to give people access to information. And as we talked, real estate is very serious, especially in the communities of color. And living in New York is a process,
Extremely.
to own a home, to actually own a home. But I want to start off. You're president of the organization, and you have an event coming up on the 18th, correct?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So tell us about the event.
Thank you for having us. So yeah. I am the co-founder and local board president of NAREB Westchester, the Westchester County Realtors Alliance. We are a Westchester-based trade association from the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, which is our national organization led by our esteemed president, Ashley Thomas III. On next week, on the 18th of April, we are having our Community Health and Wealth Building Day. This is our third annual, more to come, but this is a full circle moment for everyone in the community. We're going to have workshops such as what to do at Big Mama's house, the ABCs of home buying. If you're a seller, I have equity. Now, what do I do with that equity? Careers in real estate. Two of the very important classes we're going to have is Show Me the Money, which is we're going to have a series of banks in the industry talking about what type of programs, grants, down payment assistance. But then we also have a specialized workshop hosted by Community Housing Innovations, CHI, based in White Plains, and they're going to be hosting their own down payment grant workshop. So there is something for everyone. There's also going to be an amazing health fair powered by a lot of the organizations in Westchester County, men's health services, screenings, blood pressure, fire prevention awareness. So there's something for everyone, including the kids. So bring your children. We're going to have face painting and balloons. So it's one-stop shopping for all of the real estate needs.
Great. So, and as the organization, like you done list a lot of things that your guys do and what y'all do in the community on the 18th is a great example. But what other initiatives is the organization doing to expand homeowner opportunities locally? Outside of that, something that's general that people can go to your guys for?
So locally, we have a lot of first-time homebuyer workshops throughout the county of Westchester, serviced by other partners that we work with, such as CHI and some of the local banks. We also have one-on-one housing counseling for anyone that might be facing pre-foreclosure or already in foreclosure, right? We know that in our community, when a house goes up for foreclosure, the investors want to swoop in, right? But it's our goal. We want people to be able to stay in their homes. Right. That's not always the case, but we do offer services where we can help you navigate through refinancing, possibly a short sale. The last thing we want to see people is build all this equity and then not even be able to pull that out, right? If you really have to sell your home, okay, that's fine, but you worked so hard to pay this mortgage, right? We want you to be able to at least get the equity out, be able to do something else with it, get an investment properties, put your kid through college, right? That's what a lot of people pull equity out to do.
Right.
Absolutely. You know, so those are some of the services that we offer, as well as just teaching people, real estate professionals, how to pivot, because we know real estate is cyclical, right? Sometimes you have a real estate transaction going on. It might take you 45 to 60 days to close on that. And sometimes they don't always close. So helping agents pivot into things like development, appraisal programs, and getting their appraisal license are other facets and initiatives that we offer at the local and national level.
Great. That is great information. You know, how has the housing market changed over the last 5 years, and what trends should buyers and sellers be paying attention to today?
So over the last 5 years, everybody remembers what it was like during COVID, right? All of the buyers were able to take advantage of these really low interest rates, 2, 3, 4%. So from that perspective, the change is that rates have somewhat stabilized, right? 2% and 3% is not what we consider the norm. And more than likely, we'll never go back to rates that low, right? The market has made a correction and kind of balanced itself out. So now we're seeing rates in the low to mid 6%, depending on what kind of loan product a buyer would get. Even FHA might be a little lower than that. But right now, people are able to take advantage of the fact that it's not a seller's market, and I wouldn't say it's a buyer's market. It's more neutral. So 5 years ago, people were getting outbid, 20, 30, 40 offers, making multiple offers on properties and still getting outbid by people coming in with all cash. Now, is that really easy in our community? I mean, $400,000, $500,000, $700,000 all cash to buy a property. That's not the norm, right? A lot of us have to go through FHA and conventional financing, but now the market is somewhat leveling, where you might still get outbid here and there, but people are able to actually get accepted offers, right? And because rates are stabilized, even though prices are still what people would consider somewhat high, they're not being driven up 20, 30, 40,000 higher by overbidding. So there's a lot of opportunity. I always encourage people to not try and time the market. Get in while you can, because if you're waiting on rates to come back down to 4, 3%, that property that you're looking at for $500,000 a year from now, it's going to be around $600,000, right? So instead of timing the market, I should say get in. If you have the opportunity, you have the liquid cash, get in while you can.
Great. What are the common mistakes do first-time home buyers make before entering the market? And how can they be better prepared financially when they're looking for a home?
I love that question, because no matter how many times we sit down and we speak to our first-time home buyers about the process from beginning to end, something always happens in the middle of that process. So my advice would be, before you even say, okay, I'm getting pre-approved and I'm going to go home shopping and find a realtor, I think everyone should actually have a consultation. Sit down and have a consultation with a reputable agent, right? Someone you know, like, and trust, that can give you the beginning to the end of the process. And one of the biggest mistakes that I often see people make is, and I'm actually going through this right now on one of my transactions, is we made the offer, I walked you through the process. We find a house, we negotiate. We do our inspection, we might renegotiate. Now our offer is accepted and we're in contract, and okay, I'm going to buy a car. or I'm going to use my
Right.
credit card, right?
That is the no-no, right?
And as much as you tell people, sometimes the process can be as long as 60 days, if not more. Now, when it's time to, because people often forget, and I tell my buyers before we close, they're gonna run your credit again.
Exactly.
Run your credit
Exactly.
again, and they're also gonna do a job verification.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think, oh, I got a new job. No, if you plan on getting a new job, I suggest you wait.
Exactly.
Good opportunity.
Exactly.
You're gonna do more harm than good, because now we're about to close, and your score might have dropped. And
Right.
it could be something simple like I have a student loan, or I missed a couple of credit card payments, but you're not thinking, oh, I'm in the midst of buying a property.
Mm-hmm.
So now here we are. Everyone's excited. We're getting ready to close. We're doing final verifications, and you're not closing. Now we have to go back and try and fix that. And sometimes we can, but it's just the worst feeling. You know, you have momentum and excitement throughout the process. And then something as simple as, oh, I bought a car, or I bought some things on my credit card. And now we have to rewind. So that is the biggest mistake that I see people make. And the strongest advice would be, don't increase don't increase your debt.
Right.
Don't increase your debt throughout the process. Once you close, you want to go buy all the furniture you want and, buy your car. That's fine. But wait until you get those keys in your hand.
Exactly. That was the first thing, I was telling my wife, yo, we can't buy nothing.
No,
Nothing. We can't buy nothing. I was like, please don't touch these credit cards. Let's not do anything. Let's get into the house. And after it, then, but then usually, I mean, after the closing fees and all that, and then they want to add on this and that, man, I ain't trying to buy nothing anyway.
Right. What do you have left, right?
Fees, you're like, man, please, I ain't got no money to buy anything now anyway.
Right.
But you got the keys.
The keys.
But it's like, man, listen, after we bought our house, it was like, we ain't got nothing,
and you just do things as you can, right? I
mean,
you do the bare minimum. The most important thing is that you closed, and now you're on your journey to building equity, right?
Right.
That house is about to appreciate.
Oh, absolutely.
And no one says that you have to outfit a property all at once, every single room, right? You do what you can to make yourself comfortable, and then you slowly invest in what you need.
Exactly. What are what are the biggest barriers in homeownership you're seeing right now in Westchester County, New York State, especially for Black and minority buyers?
I would say the biggest barriers are access to capital, right? Rising home prices, and in certain areas, especially in Lower Westchester, because we see this often, depending on where you are, institutional investors, right? So we see a lot of cities that either they haven't paid their taxes, they have multiple liens, they're in foreclosures, right? And some people are they don't know the process. And I mean, you don't know what you don't know. So if no one's really educating you about what you can do, here come the investors, right? Cash heavy, hard money loans, right? The average, hard money. The average person doesn't know anything about that. So we have these investors that they come in and they actually change the landscape of the neighborhood. Because that property you might only owe $20,000 taxes, but you just can't get yourself out of that hole. Okay, here comes the investor offering all cash on your property that might be worth $500,000 with 3 bedrooms, let's say. All right.
Exactly.
They swoop in, buy it all cash. Those 3 bedrooms become 4 bedrooms because now we're going to chop it up and see if we can get even more. So now they renovate it, put that property back on the market at a price that some people just can't afford.
Exactly.
Right. So now I'm priced out of my neighborhood, and that forces, we talked about this. Yeah, that forces the migration out of New York. Like New York prices are already at an all-time high. So yeah, we see people that are like, all right, I'm going to go up to Orange County, which prices are lower. Right? Those taxes might not be as low as Lower Westchester, but okay, now where am I going to go? I'm leaving New York.
Yeah.
Right? People want to go down to the South.
Yeah. Yeah. I told my wife after this house, I'm not doing another house in New York. You know, if we decide to move, you know, we're going straight down south. It's not even, for me, it's not even worth it. And I started corrections in 1990. I remember that when a lot of correction officers at that time, Rockland County was the cheap buy. It's just across the bridge. In 1990, Rockland County was the cheap buy. And then as the years go, it started moving up and moving up.
Yeah.
And moving up. And now 7 years ago, Orange County was the cheap buy. But now
and it's not so cheap anymore.
It's not
still
so
cheaper than lower Westchester, but
right, it is.
Like there's 500, 600,000 in Orange County.
Yeah. My neighbor just sold her house. And she probably paid, I paid $328 for mine.
So you got it in a good time.
Exactly. She sold her house for $500,000.
Wow.
And that's 7 years. You know, she just sold her house for $500,000. And, you know, not knocking her or anything, but you know, she was by herself with her grandmother. So the house, she probably didn't do big fixes.
Right.
You understand? I did crazy stuff in here. So I already know I'm going to ask for more than what she asked for. But by the time if they selling at $500,000 now, 2-3 years from now, it's going to go up when you only pay $328 for the house.
Yeah.
You know, so and I've been telling
that same
people,
house and bring it down here. How much is that house worth? Right.
Exactly. And matter of fact, the builders built the same in Westchester and charged more.
A whole lot more.
It was the same house. I said, yo, this is the same thing. Right. And they charging $200,000-$400,000 more just in Westchester. You know, but I mean, if we continue down this road, like Black families are getting priced out. You know, if they're only making, you know, 120, let's say a 2-family household, they're making 200,000. You know, my daughter, she has a good job. She's a nurse practitioner, but looking for houses in Westchester. I mean, she looked at one that had a fire was 500,000. Then she had to put another 250,000 into the house. That's $700,000 house for a single mother. Like, right. That's crazy.
That is crazy. But the problem is that inventory is still low, right? Inventory is at an all-time low. So people are going to pay those prices if they can. Right. And if they can't, they're going to migrate further north or they're going to leave New York. And that's a huge issue. I mean, the average person, let's just take people from the Bronx. They want to go to Lower Westchester. But if you're only pre-approved for $400,000, you're not buying in Lower Westchester. You're not getting anything in the Bronx. Right. You're going to Orange, Putnam, Dutchess County. You're going further north. And honestly, that's not really a bad thing. If you can tolerate the commute, if you still work in the city, some people can tolerate it. And it's okay if you have to drive 30 minutes to go to work. Some people don't want to pull their kids out of the current school system in order to do that. Right. But you get more space. You get more for the prop. You know, there's access to a full backyard, right? You're not looking into your neighbor's window.
Exactly.
Right? So, I mean, staying in Lower Westchester is not a bad thing if you can tolerate the taxes, right? Because that's a huge issue in Lower Westchester County. Mm-hmm. And even in Upper Westchester, but it depends on the price. You know, taxes are based on square footage. So it really depends on the type of property that you're getting in. But, you know, the issues for us is that, you know, based on our counterparts, 68% of white people they own, whereas 30% of us, we 30% to 68, that's still a crazy gap. And it's just getting wider.
Right.
right? So that's why I feel like education is important, and having a consultation and even speaking to a financial advisor to see exactly what do I need to do. Some people think you need 20, 30, 40, 50,000 down payment. That's not necessarily the case, because there's so many opportunities out there for grants. CHI, they give grants in Dutchess, Long Island, Westchester County. We have multiple banks that have down payment assistance programs, right? There's something for everyone. And I think that people need to do more due diligence and really sit down and investigate. I'm tired of paying $4,000 rent. And it doesn't help.
You just went into my next question. Like, because, you got somebody who's paying $3,500, $4,000 a month for a 1-bedroom, right? Or maybe a small 2-bedroom. A small 2-bedroom. Like, that's a mortgage.
Yeah, that is a mortgage. And it doesn't help that, if you have a voucher, the amount that landlords are now comparing what they can charge for cash paying to compare with a voucher.
Right.
So even a 1-bedroom, we're a 1-bedroom with a voucher, we're talking $2,700. That's unheard of.
Right.
That's unheard of, right? So landlords are saying, oh, well, if the programs are paying this, but if you have money to pay that much in rent, I always say, listen, you don't have to have excellent credit to get in. Right. You can get into a property in the low to mid 600s. Your rate might be a little higher, but there's opportunity down the line to refinance. Stop putting equity in someone else's pocket and build yours. Now, not everybody wants to be a homeowner, right? And that's fine. You can get a co-op.
Right.
The maintenance is minimal, but you still own it.
That's right.
Right? Co-ops and condos, you pay your maintenance and you pay your HOA fees, but you still own it.
That's right.
And you're paying much less. So when I sit down with people and I show them, okay, so your $4,000 rent that you're paying every month, you clearly can afford that. This is how much you would be paying if you owned it and had a mortgage. And they're so astonished when they see the price difference.
Right. Because nobody showed them.
Right. Because they just don't know.
Right. See, we need our pastors and our leaders and even our politicians. Look, I get the whole affordable housing thing. I get it. But if you want to beat poverty, it should be a path to homeownership, because, we talked about this. It should be a path to homeownership, because homeownership helps generational wealth. Homeownership allows my wife keep texting me and it keep coming up on the screen. Homeownership allows people to invest in the city, pay taxes in the city, and be a part of it. But I see the politics is always for low income housing, renting, and I never see a lot of politicians talking about, path to homeownership.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, I don't see that either. And once you get caught up in in renting and you become comfortable, sometimes it's just hard to rent and pay those exorbitant prices and save at the same time. So when I put someone in an apartment, I always follow up with them, even before we sign that lease. Listen, we're going to talk a year from now to see how we can get you into purchasing something, even if it's starting small with a co-op.
Right.
So I think that's the key when we're dealing with our rental clients is, okay, sign a lease, talk to you when I talk to you. No, let's follow up and see how we can get you from renting and taking that income and converting you over into buying. Sometimes it's just a matter of improving your credit and getting your score up to a place where you now qualify for a good interest rate. Right. I follow up with my rental clients a lot because there's a lot of opportunities out here and the grant money is real. And it's a lot. Like with CHI, you can get $50,000 to $60,000 towards purchasing. You know, there's New York State grants, $20,000. I sold a house to a young man and his mom a few years ago, 21 years old. They got a $20,000 grant. They bought a small house, small 2-bedroom starter house, which was perfect for them.
Right.
At $450,000. They sold it for over $525,000. In 4 years, they sold it already, right?
Right.
So do you think that he's going to go back to renting? No, they built their equity, and now they're going to continue the trajectory and moving on to something bigger.
Exactly.
And that's how you get into the game, right? You start small, take advantage of all the opportunities, and then move on from there and continue buying, investing, pulling out your equity, maybe starting a business with that. But there's a lot of opportunities that people are not aware of.
Right. So, and that's the key. I think, like you said, the young man was 21 years old. You know, I mean, God bless him, but we need to start having those conversations to get younger people at that age to actually start buying homes.
Right. We need to start those conversations in school, in high school. You know, when I was growing up, it wasn't a part of the curriculum. Nothing about, financial literacy, home ownership, entrepreneurship was part of the curriculum growing up, but that's changing now. So that's a good thing. But we just need to get young people in front of the information.
Right.
So that's part of what we offer, right? That's just part of our whole landscape at NAREB is educating teens, young people, seniors. Maybe I need to get my finances in order. I need to figure out, where do I go from here? Maybe I need to downsize. You know,
right.
It's the whole gamut of financial literacy and generational wealth. And what do I do with this house? Do I pass it on? Do I add someone onto the deed? How do I train not train my children, but just educate them and bring them along in the process?
Right.
So that I can keep this house in my family, and
exactly
the process of building that generational wealth, pulling out that equity, maybe helping my kids, my grandkids, purchasing something else.
Right. And one last question. There's in the news about the state. They want to lower what is it? The state tax from 7 million down to 750,000. Now that's going to affect a lot of Black homeownership.
It definitely will.
Yeah,
definitely will. I can't say I'm well versed in those numbers, but it all affects home ownership.
Right.
I mean, they're talking about increasing property taxes.
Exactly.
That alone, that alone is going to affect everyone.
Yeah.
Because as your taxes increase, it increases your mortgage. Exactly. It increases your mortgage. And then it's like, okay, so what do I do? Do I refinance? That's a whole closing in and of itself all over again. Exactly. So now it's like I got to go to the closing table and bring money. There's ways around that, but it's an overwhelming process for people to say, oh, I can't deal with refinancing because now I'm closing on this house all over again. The taxes keep increasing, so my mortgage is increasing. Now, what are my options? Do I sell and move into something smaller? If I'm a family, that doesn't work for me.
Exactly.
That doesn't work for me. Do I grieve my taxes? Yeah, you can grieve your taxes in the county in which you live. But then a year later, what do we see? The taxes just go back up.
Exactly.
The taxes go back up. So yeah, it's there's a lot of information out there and people just need to be in front of it. Right. Mm-hmm. I'm a big proponent of, I'll push the information on my clients.
Good.
Because you can hear it one time and, it goes in one ear and out the other. But the more you enforce it, because I've been doing this for a very long time and I love what I do, but I also love helping people. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to see someone like renting for 10, 20, 30 years.
Right.
Building equity. What do
Right,
you
at
have to
$4,000
show
or
for that?
$5,000 a month. Right, that's
Right.
crazy.
Right. I'm paying
That's
somebody else's
crazy.
mortgage, but what am I doing for my family? Right.
Right.
I want to put my kids through school, help them get an investment property, right? We are in the age of pivoting and having multiple streams of income.
That's right.
Right.
That's
But
right.
it all starts with real estate. That is the biggest vehicle in our country for home ownership and wealth. It starts there, right? That's how you cannot buy anything else and build the amount of equity that you can in real estate.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You nailed it. You nailed it. And thank you for giving this information. You know, you made my rants on the radio legit.
I appreciate that, Damon. I appreciate that.
You
We
made
gotta
my
tell
rants
the people.
because we have to. Like, it's insane. It's just insane. And I just be on the radio show going off, that we're not pushing home ownership. Well, it is co-ops, condos, just like you said.
I don't care what it is.
Exactly.
Just
Exactly.
Buy it.
Exactly. Whatever we could do at Black Westchester, whatever I could do to help your guys out, whatever information, y'all want to pass off to us so we can get it to the people, please let us know. Let us know.
Thank you, Damon. No, we definitely appreciate that. And we will definitely take you up on that offer. NAREB, we're trying to make NAREB a household name. So we are one-stop shopping, right? You need an attorney, a lender, an inspector,
wow, that's
a
great.
realtor. We have it all. We have all the information, right? We're here for our community. We're willing to share. Even getting into the development space, we are willing to put people in spaces and places for them to grow their career, multiple streams of income. That's why it's important that everybody come out on the 18th. We need to see everyone there. There is something for everyone, right?
You know what? I'm going to apologize. I would have been there, but I have Women That Dare to Be Different is going on this day. So, in my
no worries. It's a busy weekend. It's a heavy weekend for a lot of people. But 11 to 4, we'll be there. So,
okay, great.
People can pop in, get some information, tell their friends and neighbors. Like, don't gatekeep. Don't come alone.
Exactly.
Right? Don't come alone.
Exactly. Erica, thank you. Thank you again. And if you got a flyer, please send it to me so I can add it to the video. Yes. As I edit it, please send me so people can, screenshot it or whatever they want to do. But Thank you again for coming on the show.
Me.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And that's it, y'all. That's the Publisher's Desk. And I hope y'all guys got a lot of information out this, man. And I'm glad Erica co-signed the things I've been talking about for the last year. Ownership. Whether it's like she said, whether it's a condo, a co-op, or you get a house. Black people spend $2.6 trillion as consumers. We have to start buying real estate, owning businesses, and taking care of ourselves and making our community a safe place to live. And by owning a home, there's nothing else better than that. So thank you again. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay Blacktastic. Peace out.
We appreciate you taking the time to engage with real conversations, real issues, and real perspectives that matter to Black America. Stay connected, stay informed, and as always, we'll see you next time at the Publisher's Desk. It's going to be Blacktastic. If you're serious about political clarity and independent thinking, this is for you. The Political Thought Bundle includes 3 full books, all personally singling. Democrats and Republicans, The Ultimate Gangbangers, breaks down how the two-party system operates like a legalized street war for power. Emotional Politics, Logical Failure exposes how emotion has replaced strategy in Black political engagement. Tolerance is for Cowards lays out a blueprint for extended policing and community-led public safety rooted in outcomes rather than slogans. 3 signed books. One bundle, $60. That's a $75 value, and you're getting signed copies included. This isn't left versus right. It's results versus rhetoric. Go to twosteppublishing.com and secure your signed political thought bundle today. It's going to be Blacktastic. For more than a century, Black America built its own economy under segregation, under discrimination, and under conditions most people today cannot imagine. We built businesses. We built banks. We bought land and property. In the Forgotten Blueprint, Damon K. Jones reveals how Black communities created thriving economic systems from 1800 to 1965, and why that blueprint still matters today. This book challenges the idea that our future depends on politics alone, and shows how ownership, family, and enterprise once powered Black prosperity. The blueprint is not lost. We just stopped using it. The Forgotten Blueprint, how Black America built its own economy from 1800 to 1965. On sale now at Two Step Publishing and Amazon. Westchester Magazine has been giving our community a voice, reporting the stories others ignore, holding power accountable, and making sure the truth about our communities is told by us. But independent Black media only survives when the community supports it. If you believe in real journalism, community accountability, and keeping Black voices strong in local news, we need your help. Your donation helps us continue covering the stories that matter: politics, education, justice, and economic empowerment right here in Westchester. Support Black media, support Black truth, support Black Westchester Magazine. Donate today and help keep Black media alive. Because Black-owned independent media is Blacktastic. Black Westchester Magazine presents People Before Politics, the Sunday Rundown, every Sunday at 6 p.m. on YouTube. Join Damon K. Jones, A.J. Woodson, and Larnez Kinsey as they break down the biggest stories in politics, culture, and community from a Black point of view. No spin, no party loyalty, just logic, accountability, and outcomes. If it impacts Black America, we're talking about it. Tap in, subscribe, set your reminder. This Sunday at 6 p.m. is going to be Blacktastic.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.